Alrighty, let me see. And we are live. Hey guys, welcome to the Superherocuts podcast, where we talk about things Marvel, DC, and Star Wars. It's your boy Stevie Hayes, joined by Jerry. What's up, dog? How are you today, man? What's going on?
I'm good, bro. I am good. How are you?
Dude, what a time to be alive.
Yeah.
What a time to be alive. We are happy because we're going to spend probably majority of this episode breaking down the leaks. You guys know we like to explain stuff super deep. And knowing Jerry, I know he's like looked deep into these leaks, knowing him. So I know you have a lot to say. But before we get into particulars, because I'm going to kind of pull up every single photo and we're going to go through every single image. What is your overall outlook on the leaks? Because we all know that like not everything is going to get put in the film, but it does give us an overall theme of what we're going to see. So how do you feel about these concept arts and like and where is your mindset at right now?
I can't wait to see Doctor Doom, and I think we're going to see him this summer in the post-credit for Fantastic Four. I love the images; they look fire. Obviously, yeah. The Fantastic Four images. I mean, everything. I don't think these were leaks. I think that this was very intentional from Marvel. I've said many times, I used to work in the footwear business, and one of the things that I learned was that sneaker brands all the time, there's like hype around a shoe. For example, perfect example, before any Adidas Yeezy images were released, there was an image of Kanye West holding the Yeezy Boost 750, a sample, and it ended up being a little bit different by the time it was released, on an airplane. Like, come on. You think, I know Kanye's like out of his mind, but you think his first shoe with Adidas, like he's just pulling it out on an airplane for people to take photos of? Obviously that was intentional. And I think the same kind of thing here. And it worked. Listen, you can say whatever you want about Kanye. Before he really went off the rails, that partnership was very successful. And the Marvel leaks, look at the results. I mean, everyone's going nuts over it. It was top trending on X like for a full day. And it's hard to look at this kind of result and say it's an accident. I mean, seriously, think about that. Do you think this type of result is an accident? I don't. I
100% agree. This is definitely on purpose. There's no way you drop. And if it was like one photo, I'm like, okay, maybe accident, but like you're giving us 7 to 8, 9 to 10 photos. There's no way that's on accident, bro.
Supposedly they came from, to answer Hungry Almighty's question, good question. Supposedly they came from a Marvel artist. So like, I mean, when you're working for a company, what materials are sensitive and what aren't. There's no way someone who is collecting a paycheck from Marvel and Disney and is in a pay cycle and probably getting paid this or next Friday, it's like, you know what? Screw that paycheck. I'm hoping I'm just going to drop this on the internet because I know the fans are going to love it, but I don't need to get paid on my next pay cycle. That's not what happened, bro. Come on.
Definitely in a world where like artists, like it's not like you can get it's not like you can get a job being an artist that easy, right? And if it was on accident, like this person's whole career would be shattered. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't get hired anywhere. So that is a great point from a job standpoint. But yeah, dude, I don't think any of these are fake. You and I have talked about this. Obviously, I called you on Saturday morning. And I remember because that was probably the first thing you saw when you woke up because I sent it to you mad early.
And it wasn't even that early. I just sleep late on the weekend. And I know you were like, you heard me. You could tell I was still in bed.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, this is crazy. It was so funny. It's one way to put it. I agree. It was, and someone said that they thought it had something to do with DC and the recent Superman photo with the boots. And at first when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's ridiculous. And then I was like, like I always do, because that's how I view things. If you want to know a little bit about my thought process, I view things like a normal human being. I have my initial reaction, And then I always try to take a step back and view it outside of my biases and beliefs and try to really look at things from an objective standpoint. And maybe that was, I don't think that was the whole reason, but I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility that it wasn't part of the reason. I do think the main reason for this, though, is because the news about Captain America Brave New World doesn't make Marvel look good right now. And Marvel only put out one movie last year. So it was almost like a break for them. This year is huge. It's a make or break year for Marvel right now. Listen, I think Daredevil is going to be a big success story for them. Thunderbolts is shaping up to look like it's getting a lot of praise from the people who claim to have seen it. And then obviously we're all expecting Fantastic Four to be the certified top tier MCU banger. And Stevie and I, we really enjoyed Captain America Brave New World. However, again, taking a step back from my own gut reaction to that movie and how I feel about it and how I feel that it's being treated unfairly, it still doesn't change the end of the day result about what is going on with Captain America Brave New World right now. And I think Kevin Feige and Marvel leadership probably saw that and they're like, how could we flip the script? Because we can't afford this type of buzz to continue. And they were like, screw it. Let's drop the fire today.
Let's drop the storyboards.
I think that's what happened. But I do, now that I've, again, taken a step back from my initial reaction on someone made the DC point, I do think it's a good thing if Marvel is, moving, and if Marvel is keeping the fact that they have to compete with DC in their mind with their moves, I think that's a good thing. I am a huge fan of competition, and I think competition is a good thing. It's a healthy thing. It's why this country is so great. And we as the fans and consumers benefit because the more Marvel and DC keep trying to one up each other and they're increasing their quality to go at each other, who benefits from increased quality? The fans. Come on. It's a no-brainer. So that's a good thing. It's a good thing. All in all, great weekend for Marvel. I'm really hyped up for these photos. I think the Doctor Doom design is probably the best Marvel costume design of all time. Stevie, and if you've watched the show, Stevie is like the costume connoisseur. And I think the first thing I said to him was, I know you are geeking out over that costume. So Stevie, what do you got to say about the costume?
The Doom
Yes.
costume? You know what? Let's just pull it up right now. Hold up. Let me share my screen. If you want to join our Discord, I will
I don't know if we should put it up. It's already behind us. If you want to see the images,
YOLO, bro. Everybody's doing it. Okay. And so we're gonna do it, dude. I don't even care no more because I see all the larger guys doing it. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just do it. Okay, let's find it. Okay, here we go.
What's the worst that could happen? They pull this video, but not our account?
Yeah. It would just be the live stream.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not serious. So, okay, this freaking Doctor Doom suit. Oh my lord. Okay, Jerry, I'm gonna let you go first because I want you to go first. How you feel about it?
The eyes are I don't even know if the eyes are my favorite part, but I think the eyes are the best part. I'm a detail guy, and I have a pretty extensive background in fashion and design and all that before I went a different route. But whatever. So I love the eyes, the glow. I love the pose, the way he's just like sitting over, like I am the effing boss, bitch. And the details, though, like the gauntlets, man, the layers on the gauntlets, and I'm not talking about I'm talking actual layers on around the wrist. That is so dope. I love the part that drapes down and it's kind of like a triangle shape. Looks really cool. The the legs on the boots, the fur, the robe, cape, whatever you want to call it, the hood. I mean, this thing is incredible. I think that the best Marvel designs of all time are Iron Man. I would just say Iron Man in general. All his suits are fire. Spider-Man, all his suits are fire. Thanos. The Thanos one doesn't get enough praise because when you look at like Thanos' costume from like the original comics, it doesn't look cool like in today's world. And they really did a nice job of modernizing Thanos' costume. And no one ever talks about that. But this Doom costume, man, this is insane. Insane. I mean, like, the only type of people who would claim that this suit isn't fire is the Snyder cult if James Gunn made this movie.
Literally, bro. So I already told you if they mimic this on screen, this is the greatest costume that I've ever seen in my life. It will be the greatest. There's nothing that will ever top. There's no Iron Man suit, no Captain America costume. And I was kind of hiding this in my armor. I thought Kang was building up to have the greatest costume of all time. I'm not gonna lie, because Kang's costume design in Ant-Man was nuts. And bro, I really thought that's fire. See, and Jerry, I really thought that whatever that next level design was, I thought it was going to be the greatest costume design of all time. And to get this right with the glowing green eyes, with the fur on the back, with the 2 gold like patches that are holding the fur back, and then we get an undercape with the gauntlets, and then we have the little, and then it has it, and it's very similar to Kang's armor too, how it's like kind of matte-ish, you know what I mean, where it's kind of where the kind of it's kind of flowing down with the cloth, but then on top of the cloth, you see the armor. But the one thing that the Marvel lands, bro, look at his knees, look at the boots, the metal boots, bro. Let me just tell you, they are about to freaking cook. And the one thing that I will want though, and somebody was trying to argue with me about this on TikTok, I want a reactive mask. So I would love for the mouth to move with the mask. I think that will look freaking terrifying. I think it will look scary if the mouth moves with the mask, kind of like Ultron. Like whenever Ultron's mouth moved, it looked creepy.
It was really cool, but I have a counterpoint.
I'm here.
And I think either of these things would be cool. But so when they made Jaws, the reason that you don't see the shark until the end of the movie was for 2 reasons. Number one, Jaws was originally supposed to be a comedy. And
really?
And it was Spielberg. Spielberg's a genius, bro. Spielberg was like, nah, let's make this a horror. It's going to be stupid if it's a comedy. Let's make this a horror. So they made it a horror. And Spielberg also recognized that, he's like, if people see this mechanical looking shark too much, the movie's not going to be scary. So let's just keep it suspenseful and show it at the end. And Tarantino is someone who kind of even evolved that mentality where it's like sometimes where something's so violent, they don't show it and they kind of leave it to the imagination because the suspense makes it hit harder. And I think that mentality and the comic accurate mask with Doom would still go hard, but I think they could make either way work. I love the moving mouth on Ultron's mask. However, I also think it's a little different when it comes to Ultron because it's the high tech and the moving metal kind of flows with him. But at the same time, we are talking about Dr. Doom. He is a genius. So if there's anyone else that can make it work, it would be him. But I still wanted to throw that counterpoint because it crossed my mind and it, makes you think a little bit.
That is a very fair comment, which honestly, bro, I wouldn't mind either one. I wouldn't honestly mind either one.
I'm the same way. I wouldn't mind either one. They also did a really good job of making this just look it makes you want to see more of Latveria. This just looks so sick.
It does, bro. And also, like, you know, Doctor Doom is a king, you know, like, and that's the other thing I like where he's on the throne. Because a part of me did think that with Doctor Doom, they were going to try to modernize it. And the one thing that I don't like, or the one thing I would have hated is if, like, I think there is a version of Doctor Doom where he comes off as a terrorist, but I didn't want that to be like how Doctor Doom is viewed, I guess, in Avengers. I want him to be viewed as a king, you know, as more of a, yeah, like I'm here to rule you, kind of like Loki. How Loki was like, bow, kneel before me, and and you know, Doctor Doom has his own mix of that. I'm not saying that he's necessarily like Loki, but Doom is flashy. He likes the thrones. He likes stuff like that. So that's what that picture really had me kind of excited for.
The interesting thing about Doom being a dictator, and you know, it's not so different to like Putin. You know, Putin is a dictator and Russians love him. You know, obviously around the world, we don't see him that way, but the people love him. They're like, he does a good job for us, you know, and in Latveria, the people love him there too. There is actually, I don't want to give too much away because I know you're about to read the Wade run, but there is an arc in that comic where the Fantastic Four take over Latveria and they run into conflict with the people because the people see the Fantastic Four the way Doom told them the Fantastic Four was, and they didn't see Doctor Doom the way the Fantastic Four saw Doctor Doom. So I think that is going to be interesting, and I hope they delve into that a little bit because I don't think that is something that people who only watch the movies and have never really experienced a fire version of Doctor Doom understand, because you would need to read a lot of comics to cross into that kind of conflict. You know, because there's a lot of great Doctor Doom comics, but there's not so many of them where you see the people and how they respond to Doctor Doom. But if you're looking for a great Doctor Doom run and you want like that classic sauce that you get from Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, but you want something a little more modern, that Mark Waid run is the like quintessential Fantastic Four run. Hickman's is more the big idea,
bigger picture,
intricate, you know, both are amazing, but they were going for very different types of stories with each run. So, you know,
100%, bro. Yeah, this is, as I said, if done right, this is literally, bro, the greatest costume we will ever see in superhero history. And it's going to be pretty hard to top. There's no Spider-Man costume better than this. Nothing will be better.
Spider-Man got some really good costumes.
No, I'm talking about live action. Nothing's beating this, bro. I'm sorry. This is like number one for me. So like, it is this same exact thing, bro.
That Iron Spider suit is so gas, bro. It is so sick. You know, I'm in the minority when it comes to the new suit. I don't hate it. And it looks good, but the idea of a man wearing shiny blue leggings doesn't sit well with me. Okay.
And it's just funny because I knew you were like I knew you were gonna say something about that, dude. I just know you now. I knew that was gonna come out. Same thing with the tights or with the underwears, the Superman underwears. Yeah,
the second I said the word idea, you knew what was coming.
Yeah. I was like, I just knew something about the tights was gonna come up. I knew it, bro. I just knew it. Okay, now let's go through some other art here. So I wanted to talk about this photo.
Let's start with the good stuff. Let's go to T'Challa. Okay.
I was trying to get the negative stuff out first. Okay. All right. So Jerry, you want to cook today? Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. This is another piece that made me and Jerry lose our minds because if you guys know, we've been the biggest recast T'Challa guys. One of the first, honestly, on YouTube to do it. And
we've been pushing for Damson Idris.
Yes. So what was your reaction to this to this art, and also to, you know, now it's like darn near almost confirmed that Damson Idris is going to be playing T'Challa in Secret Wars?
maybe Kevin Feige is a fan of Superherocuts.
Right? Maybe he's watching.
I hope.
Or the Russos.
Yeah. No, but he looks great. I don't know if this was my favorite look of the few, but it was cool nonetheless. I just think that I get it. They obviously wanted to go with the King type.
Was it that one?
Cape. Let me see the other one. That might be my favorite one.
There's one more. Is that one with the collar?
I like that one, but I'd rather see Dancing Idrid's face.
Yeah. We're gonna leave up.
Okay, so yeah. I think the suit looked cooler than the other ones, and I get they obviously wanted to go with a royalty vibe, but the current Avengers run, that tan cape is way cooler than this one. But whatever, we're getting Damson Idris as T'Challa and not T'Child and not Shuri and like some we are not here to make compromises with stupid ideas, okay? We will reject them outright. If you like my style and how I reject stupid stuff, you will love my threads and Twitter account. You should see, I wrote, we'll get to the Young Avengers, but I wrote the Young Avengers roster is trash. Keep it. And like some people lost their minds. They treat it like, how dare you say that? Like, no, why would I want that roster when we could get some stuff like this? I mean, Damson Idris, and I know I always say when it comes to television actors, there is levels above them to get to movies. But if you saw Snowfall, Damson Idris' acting was generational, okay? The character goes through so much change, and it was incredible the way this kid played each, the character at all these different stages in the character's arc and development. It was unreal. I don't know how you haven't watched Snowfall if you haven't watched it already. It's one of the greatest shows. But this kid deserves to be T'Challa. He's a worthy successor to Chadwick. And if you're still against the recast, like, I just think you are intellectually inferior on this. I really do. It's stupid, okay? And at this point, we all get to say, well, we have Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which will always be a beautiful tribute to Chadwick. Why not give us T'Challa, especially when he is one of the most important characters to the Avengers story leading into Secret Wars and in Secret Wars. Like, 100%. It's just stupid, man. Come on.
Yeah, he is that important. Now I am a fan of the cape. I actually like the black cape with the gold royalty kind of thing going down. I think that's cool. I also like Jerry. I also like the gold sash that's kind of coming across his chest there. It makes it feel really king-like to me. I do think my only question though is how is that going to look in battle? You know what I mean? I feel like in battle it's going to be hard.
Well, that's why
to make that cape go.
The cape in the current Avengers run, I think, is one of the reasons it's way cooler. That thing does look like it's I don't want to say it helps him in battle, but it looks like it would not be a deterrent to him in battle.
Yeah, and I wonder if like maybe something where like the cape shrinks in battle, like they're probably gonna figure out something. And I'm more than sure they're not going to do capes because I feel like the MCU hates doing capes. Like like the only guy that we see consistently with capes is Thor and Vision. Yeah. I mean, honestly. So my guess is they might even try to chalk the cape, but I think that damn. Sorry, what were you saying?
Maybe they are going to do capes for Secret Wars, and it's a way to make everything look really different, specifically for this movie.
Actually, I think fair point. Really fair
visually, they want to differentiate here, and maybe that's why they're going with it.
Yeah, and that would also be dope. And maybe shortening the cape too can help too. This cape does seem long, but all in all, this is like the greatest for me. The Doctor Doom and this is like the greatest news that I've heard all in 2025. Because this is, I mean, and this just shows like, and there's a part of me sometimes where I'm like, dang, like, are they really that stupid, And this is just one of those moments of like, okay, like they're not dumb, and I mean, even look at the art behind him. So, but this is obvious that this is going to be a multiversal T'Challa coming from another Earth. So I am very interested to see how they're going to rework all that into this. And another thing that I also wanted to say in the beginning, I do think another reason why they probably leaked this as well is because fans do want to see more multiversal stuff because they know that Doomsday and Secret Wars is all multiverse stuff and the Fantastic Four. So I do think that that's another reason why they leaked it, because I did sense that fans wanted wanted more of a multiversal connection in Brave New World. And what is funny is that they dropped that thing that they dropped that little news that the Illuminati was going to be in it. And then a lot of fans were like, I want that. And then it's like a couple days later, they end up dropping this leak. And it's like, okay, everything's kind of coming together.
I missed this Illuminati.
Okay, so yeah, what you mean?
Who said what about the Illuminati?
So one of the guys that worked on Brave New World said that one of the end credit scenes, the Illuminati was going to pop up.
Oh yeah, they should have done that. That was dumb.
Yes, and basically everybody was like, "Why the heck did you not do that? Are you stupid?"
Yeah,
and I think that's the L, like a clear L.
I think that there is a desire for some kind of satisfaction around the multiverse that they've never really given us a project that made the multiversal saga satisfactory yet.
That's a great point. And the closest we got was No Way Home.
Yeah, and even that, like, it really didn't, it seemed like they were going to go further into the multiverse towards the end when Doctor Strange was kind of, trying to seal the multiversal walls in the sky, but they didn't. And then people thought Deadpool and Wolverine was going to do it, and they didn't. And people thought a movie called Multiverse of Madness was going to do it, and it didn't. So
and Loki, yeah. Well, yeah, Loki's probably maybe the closest now that I think about it.
But and I'm not saying Loki wasn't a great show, but we never had satisfaction around the Marvel universes, the MCU's multiverse. Like it's almost like we don't really know a lot about it from the MCU. And they, when we've traveled the multiverse, nothing that great has really happened. We got Doctor Strange, meeting the Illuminati, which was cool up until they died 10 seconds later. And
where's your mouth? Like what?
Yeah. They ruined that. No Way Home was a great movie, but again, it didn't really deliver on the multiverse concept. And I think that they need to do more on the incursions and explain that and go deeper. And hopefully that is coming in the Fantastic Four, but I don't know. I also think that the fact that we're getting a female Silver Surfer in Fantastic Four makes me think that they are not crossing their T's and dotting their I's. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, but first of all, and no one actually knows this. People are kind of saying, well, we're probably getting a female Silver Surfer in this alternate universe that our Fantastic Four are probably originating from. And then we're going to get a male Norrin Rad proper at some point. First of all, that is a theory based on absolutely nothing. No one has any idea if that's true or not. And number two, even if it were true, why? Why give us a female Silver Surfer at all? Why not just do a Norrin Rad from one universe and another Norrin Rad for another? Because now you've had the internet set ablaze over female Silver Surfer when us fans are so tired of these one-way character swaps, and Norrin Rad is one of the most iconic Marvel characters that everybody wants to see. It's so stupid, and it's decisions like that that make me think that they're still not making proper that they're just making dumb mistakes for no reason.
Yeah. Okay. I feel your pain, even though I don't care as much as you do. There are some things that they do that piss me off as well. I totally understand that. Okay, so I also want to talk about some of this stuff in here as well. Also, was some Fantastic Four stuff that was very interesting, and this has to be from the Fantastic Four movie, and it looks like they're like multiversal jumping or something. Now, something that I peeped, Jerry, is that why is there no Valeria? It's only Franklin, and all of these pictures, there's no Valeria whatsoever.
How do we know that's Franklin and not Johnny?
They're holding a baby. So Reed's holding a baby. If you see, there's like can I zoom in here? Hold on.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
I don't think I can zoom in, but if you zoom in, you can see that there's a baby like sash on Reed's, like it's like a green sash coming across his like body, and a lot of people saying is that he's holding a baby, and people are assuming that's Franklin given the fact of the Doctor Doom art. But it's weird that even in the other Doctor Doom art that we have here, which I think is probably the second best shot that we've seen here, where we see, obviously Doctor Strange as the right hand. Jerry, I know this had you hype, where Strange is, Doctor Doom's right hand man, and we have Doom, and then we have Pedro Reed. I think this is Yelena Belova, and then this is Sue Storm, and then people are saying that this is Franklin. Where the heck is Valeria at? Yeah. And here's the thing that I don't like. You can't give us female Silver Surfer and then use Valeria as the excuse that you guys have been abusing female characters, because Valeria is actually a good character that you should have in these movies. So I do hope that Valeria does get added, but it's just very interesting. But while we're on this shot, I know you love this one.
Yeah, I first of all, I wouldn't necessarily say that Valeria isn't going to be involved at all. Maybe it's possible that they're not going to introduce 2 kids and they might only do 1. I think that's probably unlikely, but it is a possibility. Yeah. This was awesome because, if you read Secret Wars, when Dr. Doom lays down the law, like, okay, I feel like we should understand, basically let people understand the premise of Secret Wars. So
yeah, go ahead.
Secret Wars, what happens is there are incursions, and incursions occur when 2 planets collide and either both explode and die on that collision or one survives. Anyway, after all of the incursions, Dr. Doom takes patches from different planets and creates, like a new planet, and he calls it Battle World. And no one has anywhere else to go but Battle World. It's literally the only planet that survives because it's a new planet. And Dr. Doom becomes God Emperor Doom, and he is the God Emperor of the planet. And he lays down a new law. And in the beginning, there's like, who did Captain Britain's brother fight? It was crazy, but like basically, there's like a court system, and if you're gonna lose, you have the ability to fight the other person to the death. It's like it's Dr. Doom's world, it's crazy. So yeah, I think it was Captain Britain's brother who fought someone, and it was an intense scene, and that's what this.
Yeah, he fought Sinister, I think, right? Or no, I forget.
Yes, it was Mr. Sinister. Yes, and it was wild. And
I do remember that. Yeah, it was crazy.
That's what this scene looks like to me. And it's possible they changed some of the characters around. Keep in mind, Infinity War. In the comics, which was really taken from Infinity Gauntlet, even though Infinity War was the sequel to Infinity Gauntlet. In the comics, Infinity War, the movie, actually comes from the comic Infinity Gauntlet. And in Infinity Gauntlet, Thanos is looking to collect the Infinity Stones, to impress Lady Death. Lady Death was not even in the movie. Adam Warlock was the one who defeated Thanos and saved the day. Adam Warlock wasn't in that movie. Infinity War is still pretty much the greatest MCU movie ever. So I do think that people need to wrap their heads around that the MCU has been going on for a long time. It has never been a one-to-one adaptation universe, and they've been pretty successful doing it the way they have been. So let them cook.
This also confirms something that pissed me off on X, is that people think that the beef is going to be Iron Man versus Doctor Doom. This photo confirms that Reed and Doctor Doom, this is the center of the beef. And if you guys don't know, Doctor Doom hates Reed, and that's the whole point. The whole point of this whole Secret Wars thing is that these two do not get along at all. So I am happy that that we are that this is confirming to fans that is that. Also, Jerry, I would love for you to give a quick answer on why Doctor Doom hates Reed.
So Doctor Doom hates Reed because first of all, they went to college together and they were kind of like intellectual rivals. But Doctor Doom, in the back of his mind, is insecure. And I don't know if we were talking about this earlier. I don't know if he necessarily thinks Reed is smarter than him, but I think he's insecure that Reed may be smarter than him. So he is always trying to one-up Reed. A lot of the things he does, he is trying to one-up Reed. Again, I don't want to give too much of this one away because I know you're going to read this one soon. But in Doctor Doom by Christopher Cantwell, which is like a 10-issue comic run, incredible. I forget exactly what the threat was, but there was some cosmic threat. I think it was like an asteroid or something coming to hit Earth. And Doctor Doom is like, he's kind of like, wait, if I do this and I save the planet, do I want to be known as a hero? Or I don't know. He's like, he's like, I want to do it because I want the credit for it, but I don't want people to think I'm kind. So I don't want to be known as a hero. And I'm going to give a minor spoiler. Is that all right?
Go ahead. Yeah, I'm fine. Go ahead.
Eventually, like some of his like scientific work that he is basing his solution on comes from Reed, and he starts like, he's like, no, this is a trick. Reed is trying to trick me, and he's going to make me look like an idiot in front of the whole world. I'm not doing it this way. He's like, I'm going to use my math before Reed got involved, and he redoes it, and then he messes it up, and then he's like so mad at Reed. He's like, Reed knew that I would do this. He knew I was going to mess up. It was his plan all along, and it's just like, that's the kind of dynamic. And like Reed doesn't look at it that way at all. Mostly he doesn't. I mean, Reed has his moments, and you have to remember, Reed could go crazy too. Reed has alternate, reality versions of himself where he's like the craziest villain of all time, aka the Maker. And that's what the whole new Ultimate universe is.
By the way, I didn't know that he created Ultimate Wolverine.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. I was like, what? You gotta be kidding me.
That's why I told you, not just because of that, but like you said you wanted to read Ultimate Spider-Man. I was like, you really got to start with Ultimate Invasion, because if you don't read Ultimate Invasion is the prequel to the whole Ultimate universe, and it sets the premise for it. But basically, they build this device called the Immortus Engine, and the Immortus Engine holds back the origin, everyone, like the catalyst for everyone getting their superpowers. So they created a world without superpowers based on this Immortus Engine. And oh man, the Maker is just like Immortus so sad.
Engine.
So
I like that name.
Yeah, it's cool. Anyway, but you have to understand, like, my point in saying this is in Reed 2 to go off the walls and become a bad guy, or like, not so ethical. Like, the Council of Reeds weren't all necessarily ethical versions of Reed. Yeah. So, Reed going down the wrong path could lead to some bad things too.
Yeah, exactly. And And the other thing that you said, I mean, that even links to how Dr. Doom's face got scarred because Reed warned him. He said, "Bro, the math that you're doing to try to reach like the dead is wrong." And Doom's like, "Yeah, nah." And then once his face gets scarred, he blames Reed for it, and that's kind of what starts his hatred for Reed. So it's like, for some reason, it's like Doom like gaslights himself to blame Reed for everything, you know. So it's just very interesting, and it's weird how, and this is really a real life thing too. I guess that you could all relate to is that like the biggest difference between Reed and Doom is that, you know, Doom is all pride. He's all arrogance. He's all ego. And Reed, as you said, Reed does have his moments, but Reed is a very humble man, you know, and you know, and I think that's what makes Reed be able to work with others. And Reed, which I think can be a weakness for Reed, definitely after reading Fantastic Four, I didn't know he was that optimistic either.
Do you read any of Wade yet?
Not yet. I think I've read a couple. So I read a couple, but that was when I was reading Spider-Man. So I kind of am like, yeah, that makes sense. You know what I mean? I'm a little
like that.
To go back and read it.
It's tough because I'm always all over the place too. But sometimes, like, to really experience a run properly, you need to just stick to that run for a bit.
And JMS Spider-Man got me so in it that I kind of forgot to even go back to Wade's. But it's funny because the second I got done JMS, I'm like, I gotta read Wade. Like, it's just funny how it worked.
It's funny because now that I'm reading JMS Spider-Man and I'm loving it, it's my second time. I think I read it the first time in like 2020 or 2021. So a lot of it is like fresh again to me. But, you know, I'm also reading Simonson Fantastic Four and getting into older comics, and I'm loving it. So I'm like, finally, I'm like trying to open that section of Marvel because I always overlooked it. But anyway, what's interesting about the Wade run that you'll see, and they explain this early on, is that, you know, if you looked at Reed from the outside and you didn't really know him, you'd be like, well, he must like being a celebrity. Everyone knows who the Fantastic Four is. But the reason that they are celebrities is because Reed felt so guilty about what happened to them in outer space, especially with Ben and the Thing, that he was like, at least I could make it so money isn't a concern and we get to live a luxurious life and do things that we're passionate about. And at least I could give that to the Fantastic Four and my family. You know, even if we have to be famous, you know, it's a life that I'd like to give to them in, you know, because of my guilt. And I think that's a really interesting concept.
Which, by the way, they landed perfectly in that freaking Fantastic Four, the thing we got with Pedro.
The trailer.
Yeah, the trailer, they landed that perfectly when Reed was kind of talking about it. And then you saw the Thing look at himself before. It was like, it landed that perfectly, bro. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. You know, I think that, like, the Thing, I don't think people understand how much they're going to love that character. You know, like, it's easy to look at like Reed and Johnny and Sue, but the Thing is just, oh man, he's one of my all-time favorites. Bro, especially that there's a crazy Thing arc in Mark Waid. And once you read that, bro, you're going to be like, yeah, this guy's
I can't wait. I can't wait to see it.
You especially are going to love that one. I don't want to even tell you why, but like when you read it, you're going to be like, damn. Yeah.
Another weird thing, Star-Lord's ending up with Vision.
So I don't get that either.
Yeah.
But I love that we are seeing Star-Lord. He is one of the greatest characters in the MCU. You know, interesting thing about Star-Lord, by the way, he might be one of the, like, of the main characters in the MCU. Yeah. He might be one of the ones they took the most creative liberty with. He is like much more of a leader, strategist, more similar to like Captain America in the comics.
Yeah.
But like I always say, when it comes to comic accuracy, the more popular and well-known a character is, the more people are tied to that comic accurate version. And that's why comic accuracy matters. But for a lesser known character like Peter Quill, Star-Lord, they were able to get away with it. And it worked. And everyone loves Peter Quill. I am just happy that we're seeing it. I really don't care for Vision. I think Vision like had his moment in Age of Ultron and Civil War. I think they used him really well in Civil War. And you know what? I think they used him well in Infinity War too. I just can't stand. I'm sorry, bro. WandaVision. I hated that show. And and then they're talking about doing an Agatha show and a Vision Quest. It's like, bro, who cares? Now, I will say there is a Vision comic out there by Tom King that is supposed to be like Marvel. And, you know, one of the things I love about Marvel, the main thing I love about Marvel is that they are so creative and imaginative and innovative. And ironically, one of the comics that people always say is that for Marvel is Vision by Tom King. I never read it just because, like, when you tell me it's a Vision comic, I am not compelled to read it. But people love it. I don't really understand what they're going to do with him. I also didn't like that they didn't really go bigger on the fact that he could change his like density mass.
Yeah,
like, that is so cool in the comics, especially like the older ones, like in the Kree Skrull War and things like that. They never did that. But whatever. I'm happy to see Peter Quill. You know, I just don't think the Vision Quest will be a good show for Marvel, and I think they need to stop putting out shows that like no one's really interested in, because, you know, I actually had a comment on Twitter today. I wrote under like the new Daredevil trailer, and one of the you know, I got a bunch of engagement on it. But one of the things I said in that tweet was, you know, Disney Plus has never had this hype before like they have for Daredevil. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that we're getting a character that everyone really loves. Like,
yeah,
you know, you make a show about Vision or Agatha or Wanda. Wanda maybe is a little different because a lot of people love Wanda, but do people really want an Agatha show or a Vision show or like Miss Marvel or Echo? And I love Miss Marvel, don't get me wrong, but like there are so many better characters to choose from. Come on. And when I see them saying that we're making a Vision show, like I'm just like, why? Like, you can't afford to put out more projects that people don't care about.
yeah. And so I think Vision is a really good character, and Age of Ultron is my favorite film that sorry, that's my favorite project that I've seen him in. I wasn't really a big fan of him in Infinity War. I really was not. I didn't like how he was, because they built him up to be this powerhouse, and then the whole movie he's just as weak, and it's like I wish there was a little more equal fighting between him and Thanos. I really wanted to see a battle
Fair
there.
point.
Kind of pissed me off.
I'm not that big of a Vision fan, so I would never thought it was like an amazing Vision appearance. I just thought they did a decent job with him.
Yeah, he was always cool. And so I do think that the Vision Quest show is stupid. I've said that before. I do think Vision works best with other characters, and Vision works best when he's in the shadow of other characters. People love him in Civil War because he's in the shadow of Stark. You know what I mean? So, and I think that was the same thing with Peter Quill. Like the way I view this friendship, if it does happen, is going to be like him and Drax or him and Groot. You know what I mean? To where he's like Peter Quill's the shining light, but Vision's just the powerhouse in the back. And I think that's where Vision fits best. I'm also excited to see Star-Lord on Earth, because whatever's going on in Doomsday, he's going to be on Team Earth, unless the Guardians come and get him. And I'm going to shoot this out of the hip. Don't be surprised if Vision joins Peter Quill to be on the Guardians of the Galaxy after Secret Wars.
I will say, I do think you have to still try to give things a chance, because you never know when you're going to be surprised. Like, I hated Clayface. I thought he was stupid. And then I read the James Tynion Batman Detective Comics run where he became part of the Bat family, and I was like, okay, I get him now, and I'm a fan. You know, I always thought the Jonathan Hickman, Doctor Doom, and Rocket Raccoon team-up comic was going to be cool, but a lot of people were like, that's an odd team-up, but it's Hickman, so I'm going to read it. And I think most people loved it. I loved it. It was short. It's one comic. It's great. So I think with this kind of stuff, you have to let yourself be surprised because, listen, I was surprised with Echo. I liked it. I was surprised with Marvel. I liked it. I still think, even though those shows were good, Marvel would have been better off giving those shows and that bandwidth to a character that people care about.
And bro, I also want to give some credence to what you're saying because like based on some of the comments that we get, I do feel like fans miss our points when it comes to these shows. We don't think that these shows are going to be necessarily bad. Okay. Like I don't think Vision Quest is going to be a bad show, but the reality is this is not the character that fans want to see. The same way we don't
show.
Oh, really? Well, you do. Well, I don't necessarily think that it's going to be bad. Like at its best, it's going to be like an Echo, where it's like I can watch it. It's not bad. It's good. It's good. It's all right. And to me, when it comes to Disney Plus, that is not what you need. And obviously, there was just a tweet that just came out where Disney, they are no longer doing long form animated it's like
you got it right.
Yeah, I was right. Yeah, so they had this princess film that they were going to do that they canned, and they canned a bunch of other stuff. So Disney is cleaning up over there because obviously they see that their strategy isn't working and they've lost subscribers, and doing shows like this just doesn't help the cause. You got to get your big guys on there if you want to do a Disney Plus. Like, look, doing a Punisher special, that's going to bring people to your freaking stuff. Doing this Daredevil morning show, and do you know how I know Bob Iger is on Feige's head? Because they're already about to start filming season 2. So bro, they're going hard with it.
Do you think people are, and I'm sure there's a lot of Marvel fans that turn their subscriptions off when X-Men 97 is over. Do you think people are reactivating their subscription for Vision Quest?
No way.
Exactly.
So exactly. And at the end of the day, it's all about the business when it comes to these guys. And for us as fans, like, we are going to try to watch it. And if it's trash, we'll probably can it. But like, you have to, there does come a point to where you can't use like your core fans as the scapegoat, because the goal is to get more fans to watch it. And you have big players that are willing to do shows. Like Jerry hates the Wanda Vision show, but that show brought a lot of people, you know what I mean? And because she's a big player. And so you gotta utilize those better. So I want to drop by 2 more of these, and then we got some news to cover. I want to hear your epic rant on the Young Avengers, and then I have something to say about that too. You and I talked about this, obviously, but
yeah, I mean, this roster is just absolute trash. People have vocalized they don't care about Wong. No, but I don't think like real Marvel fans care about whatever his name is in the show, Joe Locke, this character. I can't stand him as an actor. I can't stand him in the MCU. I don't know how they ever let him in the MCU. And, it looks like that might be Wiccan next to him. And then Cassie Lang, people did not like her in Ant-Man Quantumania. And I liked that movie, but let's just face it, people didn't like her. And I think the only characters here that are legit are Miss Marvel, Kate Bishop, and Star-Lord. And that's half the people. And when I say legit, like, I don't think people are really going crazy for Kate Bishop. Maybe some might be bigger fans of Miss Marvel than Kate Bishop, but like, I wouldn't put Kate Bishop or Miss Marvel on Peter Quill's level. And it's just like, the only people I could see pretending they like this show are the people that cape for anything whenever it's like, I don't want to say diversity because it's not really diverse. It's, not a diverse group, but, it's very, the people who say they like diversity would love a group like this. And it's like, with them, it's like, it almost doesn't really matter if the show is good or not. They're going to cape for it no matter what. So, I don't know. I just think that this is a bad move, and I almost would rather this be a Disney Plus show than this be part of the Avengers movies, because any screen time spent on this group is bad for the movie.
Yeah.
Period.
So I have a different viewpoint, but I agree. So I agree that putting them together is stupid. What I want is I want them with their respected characters. Other than Miss Marvel, because she's kind of on her own, you know what I mean? And they already tried putting her. The only, I mean, you could put her with Monica Rambeau. I would not mind that. I really think that Captain Marvel is not going to have a big role in this at all. I really don't. I think they're going to. I think they were playing for her to have a big role. I think she's going to get benched super hard. I really don't like the idea of, you guys know I'm sick of Wong. Wong is he's one of the most, and Wong is not a bad character, but he's in everything, bro. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
And also putting Star Lord in here is kind of annoying as well. But yeah, I want these people with their respected A-list characters if you want to put them into the Avengers. And I wouldn't mind them being in this only because the Russos have been proven to write and direct characters to be better than they ever have been. And I think that given the right direction, these actors could fit in a good way. Like I would love to see Speed. Wiccan, not the biggest fan, but you can, if he has a little small scene, like, I'm not going to be angry. But putting them together and trying to form a team, and you're trying to make this extra plot in the story, it's kind of cringe. You know what I mean? Because it's like, how do you put all of the young characters together? Like, how does that happen? You know, I think it's kind of cringe. So I mean, I hope that they don't go down that route. But I wouldn't mind them being with their respected heroes, because it would just make sense for them to be with their people when things go wrong.
I mean, the only kind of people I could see pretending and liking the show and defending this group are the type of guy I beefed with on Threads over the summer. If you know, you know. And, the people who pretend The Acolyte was a good show. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I mean,
we want good content. If you want to make a Young Avengers thing, at least do it at Disney Plus, where it's not going to detriment a major project like Avengers Doomsday or Avengers Secret Wars. And I don't think anyone really cares for the Young Avengers. We just want the Avengers. 100%. Who actually wants the Young Avengers? It's funny. I said when someone was like, "Oh, well, you obviously don't read comics." I feel like anytime someone doesn't like my point on Threads, there's always someone who's like, "Oh, it's like, oh, my name's Comics Cuts." So they're like, "Oh, you don't like comics?" Like, bro, I read a ton of comics. You know what? I've never wanted to read once a Young Avengers comic. Okay, get out of here.
So yeah, guys, we just spent an hour talking about these, so that's how you know we're pretty hype about these leaks. But yeah, all in all, the leaks were cool. It was happy to see. It was a fun Saturday, and it was fun to talk about. So next up, Daredevil is coming out tomorrow. Daredevil Born Again. And this is the biggest thing of the year so far. What are your expectations for Daredevil Born Again? By the way, just want to let you guys say one thing. I am feeling generous. So here's what I'm going to do. Tomorrow at 9:00, I will do a live watch party with you guys. Okay. That's what I'm going to do because I have the time. And Jerry, if you can make it slide through at 9 p.m., I'm going to go live. We're going to watch it together and we'll review it and talk about it. And because I am that hype. But what are your expectations for Daredevil Born Again?
So I think that this show is going to be two things. I think it is going to be a continuation of the Netflix show, but I also think it's going to be the start of a new street level era for the MCU.
What do you mean when you say new street level era?
Well, I mean, didn't they say they're building around the Daredevil show?
Yeah. Oh, but Frank Castle, all that stuff.
And I think that it's going to be a very different vibe from the rest of the MCU because, number one, the Daredevil show is very gritty, noir, and dark, and that kind of show really works for TV. And it's very different from the type of MCU movie you would see in the movie theater. And it opens the door for Marvel to correctly do New York City street level. And I think we're going to see the Punisher. I know we're going to see the Punisher in Daredevil, but I hope that we're going to see more of the Punisher outside of Daredevil, which I have to imagine we will. We're definitely going to see more of the Punisher. But what I also want to see is Moon Knight. Moon Knight, if you only know him from the show, you wouldn't really know that he is also a New York City street level hero. Obviously in a very different way, but I think a character like that would really help tie that like street level corner of the MCU to the rest of MCU proper. Obviously Spider-Man 2. I don't think we're going to see Spider-Man in the show though, just based on the fact that he is the number one character in the MCU. He's the number one Marvel hero, point blank. And, it's the same kind of reason James Gunn pulled Superman and Lois. You just, as much as I love Superman Lois, you just can't have your A-list characters.
You might be shocked. So, who's his name? So Brad talked about it. He said he legally can't. Sony will not allow him to.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's why. Definitely.
Isn't that crazy? See, like I thought it was their decision. I didn't know that they legally could.
I still think that Disney. I think Marvel probably feels the same, but it's easier to put the blame on Sony than we don't want to give you Spider-Man on TV.
Company lingo. I feel you.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the show is going to be incredible. All day I was like, I'm so annoyed it's not coming out tonight. I want to watch it.
Yeah, because we could have did the watch party like right now. It would have been crazy. Yeah, dude, it's crazy, bro. I am so excited for this. I echo everything you've said. This is going to be so violent. That Daredevil fight scene with him and Bullseye that dropped was fire, bro. Yo, did you see when he first walked in and all those freaking knives just sitting in his chest, bro?
Yeah, that was insane. I mean, that really slowed him down. It's funny because there are a lot of characters like I was drawn to when I first started reading comics based on the movies, and I loved the Daredevil movie as a kid. If you have seen it, or even if you haven't seen it, I recommend watching the director's cut. It's much better. It's probably hard to get your hands on, but you can rent it on Amazon Prime, and it's like $3 or $4. So
good to know.
It's worth watching the director's cut. But I loved that movie as a kid, and I always thought Daredevil was cool because my dad used to take me to the comic shop, and I was not into reading, but I would like looking at the pictures, and I always thought Daredevil was cool because at the shop, I remember asking the guy, and this was a pretty famous shop, and I asked him, I was like, do you have any like first like appearance? I don't even know what I probably called it, but that's what I meant at the time, of any like characters here that are like big. And he was like, yeah, we actually have Daredevil first appearance. And he was like, it's right there behind glass. And they were trying to sell it for like $2,000. And this was probably like in like 2001 or 2002 or something. So, inflation's probably a lot more now. But yeah, so I always thought Daredevil was cool. And then the movie came out, and I really loved the movie, and I loved Bullseye from the movie. So then when I started to read comics, and I realized like, well, that Bullseye is really nothing like the real Bullseye, but whatever. And I really loved what they did with Bullseye in the show. And Daredevil is one of my like top favorite heroes. If you're looking for good Daredevil comics to read, I would say I'd probably start with the Chip Zdarsky run. There's 2 of them, so make sure you go to the one that came out first. The Brian Bendis run is also really good. And if you want to see something a little less like gritty, the Mark Waid run is also really good. But almost every Daredevil run is good. You really can't go wrong. But the Zdarsky run is just insane. I mean, Stevie told me yesterday he's got a friend that thinks it's the greatest comic book run of all time. I'm like,
by the way, he's in our TikTok chat right now.
Okay.
It's funny. He's literally just walking here while we're Cody. What's up, baby? He's literally in here while we're talking Daredevil. That's hilarious.
It's definitely the best Daredevil run, and it's definitely one of the best Marvel runs. But to say it's the best run of all time, sorry.
No,
Hickman.
No. Hickman's the GOAT. You can't do that. So yeah, I think this movie is going to be amazing. Or not movie. I think the show is going to be amazing, and I am hyped for these episodes. And the biggest thing was the review saying that it's like a big just rush of just hype and just action and fighting. I think that's what us as fans need, and we are super excited. James Gunn just confirmed Starfire will be a Elseworlds project.
Well, I'm not like that big on her, but I think that's stupid because there's certain things that are smart to do just because they have such a loyal fan base. And like, who did I see? Oh, Aaron Pierre, I think, is now dating Tiana Taylor, and like that benefits us, okay? Because
What?
not that they were taking pictures together like they're dating, so I think they are. But I'll tell you why. Oh, is that just celebrity gossip? Like, that's silly. How does that benefit us? Well, it benefits us because now there's all those people on Twitter who are like obsessed with celebrities and that's all they care about. They're going to be like, oh, Tiana Taylor's dating Aaron Pierre, so we got to watch The Lanterns. So the Lanterns will be more successful simply because those celeb obsessed geeks are going to love it. So they benefit us. Maybe I shouldn't call them geeks. Maybe I should say, shout out you celeb.
Yeah. The same thing with Chalamet, because he's dating the car
Kylie Jenner,
girl.
So I think it's a good thing that like characters like Starfire have like almost like a cult following, and James Gunn should want to take advantage of that for the DCU. Like, that is a bad move.
100%. So yeah, we are hype about this, bro. We can't wait for Daredevil tomorrow. It's gonna be crazy. Okay, now next year, the Russo.
We're lucky.
We're
lucky that they're bringing back the same Wilson Fisk and Bullseye. That is awesome. And Muse looks dope too.
Oh, he does look awesome. And we're getting White Tiger as well. Now the guy actually ended up passing away, so rest in peace to him. But we are excited. I'm really excited to see him as well.
Yeah, bro. The Bendis run has a crazy White Tiger arc.
Really?
Yeah, bro. He basically, so Hector Ayala is his name, and he hung up the White Tiger for a bit, and he like went out one night, and he went out in costume. I forget exactly why, but he wasn't White Tiger for a while, and he went out in costume. And he walked by like a pawn shop, and there was an armed robbery going on in the pawn shop. And I forget if I think it was a cop that got shot. And they ended up, it looked like it was Hector Ayala, and Hector Ayala and Matt Murdock represented him. Bro, it is wild.
That actually sounds fun.
Yeah, it was really cool. So, Daredevil and White Tiger, they definitely have some lore.
Yeah. All right, let's read some chats because I forgot to reread them earlier. We already answered that. It was a Control E. Yup. You probably hold on one second.
I wouldn't blame you, Hungry. That would be so whack.
That T'Challa pick better not be adult to child. Yeah, I would crash out if that was adult to child. And then we have a TikTok chat too. You probably talked about this before. What are your thoughts on Kraven? Kraven is a really bad movie. Kraven's really bad. Not enough action. The story doesn't really mean anything. I think Aaron Taylor's cool just because he's a good actor, but like with what he was given, he just wasn't able to really do much. And without Spider-Man, or I even think there was something that they like. I was expecting Kraven to be like this whole obsessed over hunting, and it was more of like his love for animals. And it's like, yes, there is a love for animals, but Kraven's whole fix is the hunt, and he's in love with the hunt and what it takes to hunt. And they didn't really like dig into that. So I feel like there was a lot of like, it was kind of conflicting for Kraven. And then his brother is Chameleon. It was just super weird, but yeah, like, but when it comes to bad films, if you just blast action, I can get through it. And there was too much dialogue and talking, so I got distracted so fast.
It's such a shame because Kraven is one of the coolest villains and most unique, and he deserves justice, and they didn't do him justice.
100%. I just started watching Invincible. What a great show, dude! I love Invincible. If you guys haven't watched it, check it out. We're on season 3 now, but you should start season 1. Probably one of the best animated shows I've ever seen in my life. I love it. Okay. I want it to be a World War II version of this character. I forget what character you're talking about. It's a make or break year for superheroes in general, it seems. Yeah. It is, bro. It is. Very important year. Heard these picks are Secret Wars, not Doomsday. I'm happy to see Hulk getting love. Hopefully, this leads to the return of Angry Savage Hulk. Yeah, I actually did. I forgot to show that. I'm actually not mad at that image. I'm actually not. And as I said before, the Russos know how to resurrect the character. So that makes me happy. True. That makes me happy. It's insane that they have not used the Hulk more. Is Ruffalo doing anything? Maybe it's due in part to She-Hulk, but still. So this is not. I have no proof about this, but my assumption, my theory about this, I think there's some internal things going on, because there's no way that you sideline the Hulk and She-Hulk like that, and I think there's just a reason why we haven't seen them. I don't know why, but I think there's some issues going on behind the scenes with Mark.
I could see that. He is very vocal and controversial, and I could see them having issues with him.
Yeah. And also the biggest issue with Mark is that I'm not sure if you guys watched it, but he leaked Infinity War. He was giving spoilers during his press runs on purpose. So like I can see why, and maybe
arrogant,
and maybe the Russos got sick of it. Like I'm not sure, but there's a reason why he's not really invited. I think it's something internal. Deep down, Feige has James Gunn and his DCU somewhere in his mind. I tell people this, but they don't think Marvel is worried about DC at all. Oh, they definitely are worried. They definitely are. You know what I'm saying? And not worried in a way of like the DCU success could kill them to you, because I think both being successful, they can rise each other. And I think that's the beautiful thing about it, is that as Jerry said earlier, the more that they both try to what is the word, like
each other.
Yeah, the better content we get. And I would love an article where you have James Gunn and Kevin Feige facing each other like they're about to fight. That would be awesome, bro.
Yeah.
You have Corn Sweat in the whole in their costumes behind them. That would be fire art right there. Maybe that's what partly inspired the 60s Silver Age aesthetic, with the characters sticking more closely to the comics. It's not a fair point. It is Doom, facts. That Doom suit looks perfect. Not one bit of Iron Man in the suit, which is what I was worried about. Please, Marvel, no Tony Stark Doom variant. Let RDJ be Victor Von Doom. That's the only thing, bro. I think that was a message, bro. I do think that this is a message. And a lot of people, and I love Josh from Den of Nerds. He's one of the guys that got me into this, and Jerry and Jerry and him, they follow each other on X, and Jerry's always commenting on this stuff. But I wholeheartedly disagree with this take of the RDJ Dr. Doom. And I think that he basically thinks that what they're going to do, this is kind of long. So what he thinks is that Tony Stark in the MCU was always Victor Von Doom. And and basically like
no disrespect. I actually wish I used a better word, because I actually do like that kid.
It's just not a good take.
It's not a good take.
Yeah. And then this whole theory is about how like Dr. Doom dropped off this variant that looks like because I mean, if you know how variants work, they don't all have to look like each other. That's why in the MCU, Chris Evans is Captain America, and in the Fox U, he's the Human Torch.
Well, and he was Reed, and now we're getting Pedro Pascal.
Exactly.
There was nothing like. I think
they were trying to build that crap, but that's a terrible concept, and I think that if you do that, it takes away from Dr. Doom as a character. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
So I also think that like when they announced it, it really did break people's brains. Like RDJ, sometimes people just look alike. There's a Facebook group called People Who Look Like Adam Sandler but aren't Adam Sandler, and it's like thousands of pictures. So I
know what page you're talking about too.
Yeah, it's funny. But like I think that it's as simple as Robert Downey Jr. played Tony Stark, and now he's playing Victor Von Doom, and he's going to be Victor Von Doom, and it's going to be the same actor, and it's not a big deal because Tony Stark is dead, and like he's not playing Infamous Iron Man, and also that's a stupid theory too that pisses me off because first of all, Infamous Iron Man is a goated comic. It is incredible, but what you need to understand is that Infamous Iron Man came right after Civil War II, and in Civil War II, Iron Man dies, and Victor Von Doom at this point was like, you know what? I want to turn myself around. I'm going to be a hero. And nobody believes. He takes the Iron Man suit, modifies it a bit, and he's like, I'm going to be the hero. And like, nobody believes him. The thing was like, you sure about this? And, but it was a redemption arc. You can't have like people who don't read comics like, oh, it's definitely going to be Infamous Iron Man. Like, bro, what? You think they're going to do a redemption arc before they have Victor Von Doom, the most popular Marvel villain, the biggest Marvel villain of all time? They're going to give us an alternate version first. You know, when I was a kid and I was like big into action figures, I remember like if I would go to the store and like, you know, I would get like a Batman toy. I wouldn't want a Batman in like a Mr. Freeze costume. I would want a Batman toy first, you know? Bro, I hate Mr. Freeze, but that's another story. You know, so I just think it broke people's brains, and it's really not complicated. It's very simple. He was Tony Stark, and now he's playing Victor Von Doom.
Yeah. The same way that Chris Evans is in rumors to be in this film. He might be a whole other character. It has nothing to do with Steve Rogers. But that's the point of the multiverse.
And he was also Johnny Storm. He was Johnny Storm in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Also, Michael B. Jordan. Killmonger. Remember, he was the Human Torch in Fox?
Yeah.
They were already toying around before we even knew about it. I think they don't talk about Thanos is because he is comic accurate, but also moderate, and it works. Facts. That's a point I never thought about either. That they modernize his suit. I hope they keep Doom's helmet on and don't take it off every 5 seconds. I really think it's going to be on. I really do. Doom loves his people, and people love him. Facts. I don't like the Iron Spider suit. LOL. Also, hot take. I actually don't like it when the suit automatically comes to Spidey and T'Challa using nanotech. I prefer them physically putting the costume on. See, I love the nanotech. By the way, are you talking about the comic book Iron Spider or the MCU Iron Spider? Because I do know some people that hate the MCU Iron Spider suit.
Yeah, I know there are a good amount of people that hate the MCU Iron Spider suit. I love it.
Same here.
When I first saw that thing, I was like, holy crap, that thing is insane. Yeah. I love the comic one too. I understand why they didn't do the comic one in the MCU. You know, the superior Spider-Man suit is insane.
Mm-hmm. See, I like the MCU Iron Spider only because like the comic one kind of mimics Iron Man's like colors, but it has Spider-Man's design. I love the mesh of the gold and the blue and the red. It looks very cool.
The difference you have to understand too for the comics, there's two things. Number one, they weren't going to do the Iron Spider suit from the comics in the MCU because it's too different, and they want Spider-Man to be instantly recognizable. They don't want people confused about Spider-Man. It's a business. Spider-Man's the biggest character. They want to sell costumes. They want to sell toys. And if they did the comic accurate Iron Spider suit, they wouldn't have done as well on that front. Number one. Number two, in the comics, in Civil War, Tony gives Peter that suit. But what you have to understand that's different about Civil War in the comics is that Tony got Peter to tell everyone, because to sign the Superhero Registration Act, you have to have a public identity. So Tony talks Peter Parker into doing it, and Peter Parker tells the world that he's Spider-Man. And then he gets the Iron Spider suit. And after some time, the things that Tony was doing increasingly didn't sit right with him, and he ends up joining Cap's side and regretting the whole thing. So I think that it was part of it that the suit was kind of in Iron Man's colors, and it was like kind of
you're on his team type thing. I get it.
Yeah, and it was a bad thing.
That's a fair point. You just cooked. You just cooked right there.
Thank you.
If Feige and Russo are going to listen to fans, they better listen to credible people like you guys. Denoners, Comics Explain, etc. Facts, bro. That is facts.
I hope so.
Hey, Feige, if you want to hire us to run stuff by, hey,
yeah,
our phones are always prepared for that call.
Hell yeah. And but like I always say, and I love saying this, but listen, if you need to stop listening to all the fans, which I totally get because most of them are intellectually inferior, and that needs to include us too, so be it.
Yeah,
because we get people who are like, "Oh no, we don't want T'Challa. Like that's stupid," or Mr. Freeze should be the villain. Okay, you know what, fandom? You've had enough. You've had enough Twitter.
And that's what I think that Doom like art is like. I feel like it's like a text from the freaking Russo saying, "Do you think we're that stupid?" Like that's really what it feels like.
Smiles, frown. I like that comment.
The question for Black Panther: do you see him being Black Panther for the foreseeable future of the MCU, or only these movies and maybe Black Panther 3? I'm gonna tell you this: if they cast if Damson Idris is Black Panther, he's staying. Best believe.
I think that if they bring him back, they're going all in.
Yeah, they have. You can't just an actor like him. Number one, he's young, and you don't just bring them in like that. Now if we saw like an MCU Tom Cruise Iron Man, that's a one time thing, or a John Krasinski guy, that's a one time thing. But this, it would stay,
especially because unfortunately, it's become controversial, or unfortunately, since Chadwick died, it was always seen as controversial to bring T'Challa back. If they're bringing T'Challa back, they're going to want to get the most bang for their buck, and that means more Black Panther movies.
100%. It would be very cool if this T'Challa comes to you. Excuse me. It would be very cool if this T'Challa comes from the universe of Pedro Pascal, Fantastic Four, since T'Challa debuted in comics. That would be freaking awesome. What if he cameos in Fantastic Four? I would lose my mind.
Yeah,
I would lose it.
That would be crazy.
And if his Wakanda gets freaking destroyed and he's on like the don't even get me started. Okay, anyways, and my wife, hey babe, thank you for the emoji. I think that's the problem. Why not just do regular Silver Surfer? That's one of the characters that the old movies got right. 100%, bro. 100%. It's common sense. It's not rocket science. Yeah, and this is where the mind of creatives is the greatest gift and the greatest curse, because people will read one comic with the female Silver Surfer and say, oh, let's just change the whole ties. It's like, come on, man, you can't be doing that, bro. You can't be doing that. Like, this isn't the content that you do that with.
And comic accurate is not the only standard. Also, like, if you have to say, oh, well, it happened in issue 52 in 1961, like, shut up, okay? Everyone wants the classical, traditional version of the character.
Exactly. And what also is weird is that for the guy who didn't like the cast, or for the guys, the fact that he made the WandaVision show and he wasn't happy with the casting for Wiccan is kind of weird how he would go this route. That's another thing, but topic for another day.
Wait, who wasn't happy with the casting of
So
Wiccan?
Apparently he wasn't happy with the casting for Joe Locke. The guy that's Shackman.
I don't blame him. Joe Locke. I can't stand that kid. Because
the kid that played Wiccan in the WandaVision show was awesome. He was great.
That kid he made some arrogant comments in the press tour, and it really just didn't sit well with me. I forget what it was, but this kid was just like, dude, you are lucky to be in the MCU at all.
For real.
Chill out.
Facts. You are not experienced enough to be talking that crazy. Yeah. Do you guys think they will try to bring in the Beyonders, or will they leave that part out and just give Doom like Eternity or the Watcher powers?
It's a good question. Again, they didn't have Death or Warlock in Infinity War, so I think that this one's a wild card. I think it could go either way.
Cosmic entities will be involved, though, for sure.
Yeah, I hope it's Beyonder. I really do.
I do too. I do too. And the other thing is, like, the concept of the Beyonders isn't that hard to put in the movie as well.
Yeah, because it's not like they need so much screen time. They were like barely in the comic, but they still have a big role. That meant because of the things that they did that set off the trajectory. But the other thing here is, like, when I'm and now that I'm thinking about it, Infinity War, which is really Infinity Gauntlet, came out in the early 90s. And for an older comic, it really does hold up well. But we're now talking about the greatest comic run of all time. And what you have to understand about the chronological timeline of comic books is that the writing and the stories became a lot more innovative over time. And the Avengers Saga and Secret Wars was written by the greatest comics writer of all time, and it is the greatest comic run of all time. And because of that, I think they should double down on the lore, not just because it's the best and he's the best, but because the lore in this story is so epic, and like it would go so hard in the MCU. And one of the things the MCU fans really seem to love is Marvel lore. Like when they put the Infinity Stones in there and the, Mjolnir and things like that, fans really gravitate towards that kind of stuff. So I think it would be a W move to, listen, we're doing Secret Wars, go all the way.
Yeah, exactly. So there's this pastor I watch, right? And he has this company called, I think it's called The Art of Teaching or whatever. And the one thing that he says is, when you are speaking to someone, you never want to dumb down what he said. You never want to dumb down what you say, because you never want to assume that your fans are stupid. You know what I mean? And don't think that we're stupid. If you want to dig deep and if you want to do some deep lore and deep cuts, do it. Because bro, a sense of me does feel like they wanted to dig a little deeper in Endgame and in Infinity War, and it does feel like they held back a little bit. I even felt the same way in Loki as well with some of the Kang stuff. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to get sweaty, bro. And I think fans are going to appreciate it. And I also think that Marvel, you guys have to rely on us, because when fans don't understand the concepts, we're the ones that explains it. And so and also it's gonna, and also, if the more you go by the comic book, because I do agree, bro, this story is darn near perfect. And I also think it's going to cause more fans to read the comics as well, to read the actual source material, which helps you in the end. You know what I mean? So
I love what you posted on your story today. And that's why, like I wrote when I reposted it, is that like, if you don't read comics and you've never read a comic and you're kind of thinking about it, or even if you haven't, you should download the Marvel Unlimited app. If you have a tablet, it's obviously better, but you can still do it on your iPhone or whatever. You, like, a lot of people are like, oh, I need to read it on paper. Like, why? It's stupid. Now you have to buy it. Now you have to wait for it to come in the mail. Now you have to worry about the condition. Like, do you want to experience the story, or do you want to have a book on your shelf that sits there and collect dust that you pay for? Anyway, so Marvel Unlimited, it's like $10 a month. You should read the Jonathan Hickman Avengers Saga. Make sure you look it up online so you read the right order and all that kind of stuff. I think they have it actually in the app now, whatever. But my point is, if you read this story, it will change the way you see comics. You will be like, holy crap, comics are awesome. Like, this is crazy. I never imagined I would have an experience like this. And that's what it is. I do think, though, on the lore and like dumbing it down, I kind of think that, now that I'm thinking about it more, I think they've been trying to dumb down the multiverse, and it hasn't been working. And they need to recognize that, because maybe that's why we haven't had the satisfactory experience with the multiverse in the MCU. And, if you're just joining in, I'm not saying we haven't had good movies that had the multiverse, but we never really had Marvel flesh out the multiverse in a movie that was like, wow, the Marvel multiverse is awesome. Like, yeah, No Way Home was good. Loki was great. And Deadpool and Wolverine was awesome. But the multiverse, like Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, not so much madness, like, as I like to say. And I think that they're like trying to simplify the multiverse to dumb it down for fans, and it's just not working. Fans want more, so give it to them. But I don't agree, and this might sound bad, but like, it's just the truth.
Go ahead.
I don't agree with you when you say the fans are not all. I don't think all fans are like smart enough for all the lore, and I'm not saying all fans are stupid, but most people just aren't bright people. It's just the truth. Like, intelligence is not for everyone.
100%, 100%.
It's just the truth. And
that's why
Marvel,
I think
that's why one of the reasons Marvel's been so successful is they do, sometimes they go a little deeper, sometimes it's straightforward, but For the smarter people, you still get to enjoy it, and for the people who aren't as bright, they get to enjoy it and feel like they watched something, that was really intelligent for them.
Fair point. Fair point. I just think that with the multiverse, like you gotta go sweaty. Like if you're having Doctor Doom and all this stuff and you haven't read like I want to not understand some stuff too. Like I think there's beauty in not knowing and wanting to research more. And that's just because I grew up on Lord of the Rings, where I watched the movies before I read the books. I had all these questions, you know what I mean? And then I went back and watched like the 90s Hobbit film, which gave me some explanation. So I feel like as fans, like it can, and like I remember when I wasn't in comics when I watched Avengers, and what got me
one.
No, it was Avenger. Oh, it was right after Civil War. Right
Okay.
after Civil War. Sometimes I keep calling Civil War Avengers 4. Anyway, so or Avengers 3. It's because sometimes it feels like it's an Avengers movie.
It does.
Yeah. But so there was this podcast. It was called Marvel Studios News, and I'm still friends with the guy. His name is Paul Herman, and another guy named Sean Gerber. And they did this whole entire podcast called Road to Infinity War. And basically they went through every Marvel movie, broke it down, gave you the comic book background, gave you their perspective, because they've been reading comics since like the 80s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they were my education into becoming a sweat, you know what I mean? For like the MCU. And that's where I feel like, like having a story that's so complex and crazy is going to kind of bring fans together. But I do agree with what you're saying is there might have to be a cap on how sweaty you get though.
Yeah, I want to talk about this comment for a second because I get what you're saying, Smiles Frown, but I do think with the right writing, like the Russo brothers, that they could do it in a way that isn't exposition. I hate exposition. That's what I really hate about older comics. A lot of them are just pure exposition and like corny and writing. Like that's what I hate about Kurt Busiek, which I hate him as a writer. Oh God, you have no idea. I can't stand him. And I can't stand him on Twitter, which makes it even worse. But I couldn't stand his comics before I ever knew his Twitter. Anyway, bro, I think the Russos are talented enough to do the lore and not make it exposition.
100%. All right, now let's get into the next topic because we got a few more topics to cover. Okay, so let's talk about Ryan Gosling. So his Star Wars movie was confirmed by Kathleen Kennedy after there was rumors, or after a press run released that she's about to quit. Everybody got hype or resign. So let's have some details. So you and I talked about this, about a rumor that Gosling was going to be in it. It's now confirmed, which is actually some wild news that Gosling signed over Star Wars. It really has me shocked. And also, he's definitely getting paid the bag for this. There's no way he's doing this without getting paid. But let's read some details. Starring Ryan Gosling. It will be a standalone film. It will be set around 5 to 6 years after Episode 9. It may bring back some sequel trilogy characters, and it will be the next Star Wars film in production. So Jerry, I wanted to talk about this because last time you and I talked, remember when when Daisy said that her film was going to be next. And it's funny that they are kind of pushing her film to the side for this Ryan Gosling Star Wars film. Now, you probably agree with me as this is the right decision. It's freaking Ryan Gosling. You know what I mean? But how do you feel about Ryan Gosling doing his own Star Wars film and kind of being his own character and doing his own thing?
I love it. I love Ryan Gosling. I think he's a super talented actor. I also think he's like one of those celebrities that has a huge following and that is going to bring a lot of attention and box office sales. He was also amazing in Blade Runner 2049.
Great movie.
Great movie. So I think this is going to be great. And like, it's awesome that they're putting an actor in a Star Wars movie that I don't know, isn't going to go out and say something super controversial that makes you like look at their character like, oh,
yeah, because all he cares about is the job. You know what I mean? And that is facts. Yeah, I'm hyped for Ryan Gosling. Or here's the word: he's professional. That's the word.
Yeah, he's
very professional.
A lot of actors don't have social media because they don't want their image to be super accessible and available, so they're worth more. They even made a movie about this. I completely forgot about, but I saw someone talking about it. So Lost in Translation, great movie. But it came out, I think, like early 2000s, and Bill Murray is like a super famous actor, but he goes overseas to Japan to film a commercial because he wants the bag, but he doesn't want the commercial to be seen in America and devalue his image and his brand. And when you think about like Mark Hamill and how much he damages the Star Wars brand on Twitter every day, it's like crazy. I'm trying to see, does Ryan Gosling have a social media? I don't think he does.
I think all he has is like a fan page.
Yeah, he does. Okay, so exactly. Like Stevie said, he is a professional. You know, I was looking for Mikey Madison's Instagram. She doesn't have one. Girl's 25 years old, just won Best Actress and Best Picture at 25 years old. She's smart enough to not have an Instagram, and she's gorgeous. She would definitely make bank on Instagram doing, lipstick ads and all that kind of stuff that, hot famous girls do. But she is smart, and she didn't do that. And now she won Best Picture, and she's about to make much bigger bags.
I agree, bro. I also think that bringing Ryan Gosling to Star Wars is going to bring new eyes and fans to the brand, and that's what it needs because this brand is dying. And like they need somebody like this, and this is a guy that you build around. This is a guy that you bring other people around, and also the good thing about having Ryan Gosling, it's gonna make other actors sign up as well. You know, having just the same way having our DJ come back, right? It's gonna make all the other OGs want to do something too with the MCU. Like the same way they were all texting their chat, like Robert, you didn't say anything. You know, I mean, they were all hype about it. So you know, this is just going to bring good buzz to Star Wars. And as much as I can't stand Kathleen, and I think she is I'm about to say a really bad word. She's a bad person to Star Wars. This is a great move on her part. Don't really think she's responsible, but great move on her part because she's the one that announced it. So as much as I might not like somebody, I got to pay flowers when they do something right. Okay. Now, next thing here, let's talk about David Cornswell. He said something that I really liked about Superman, and it's a really good mindset that every actor should have. And I really think Jerry and I hold this as well. Now, we will cook you though. That's the little difference between Corn, Sweat, and us. But this is what he said. So, the press asked him about him being, just criticized for playing Superman. He said, "I do not take it personally. I see it as something to learn from, and all actors have to accept that for what is going to grow professionally." And he was talking about the fact that, everybody has been just giving him crap for being Superman. I think this is a great answer from David Cornsweat, and I think that he understands that, he has to put in the work.
Yeah. I think Cornsweat sounds like a professional, and listen, I think this guy is going to go down as one of the greatest castings of all time. I really do.
Yeah, I think he's one of those guys where he's ready. He's ready for the spotlight, and it seems like he's been prepping himself, and I'm really excited to see what he's going to do. Yep, exactly. Other actors need to take notes because a lot of times actors will respond to the negativity with the same thing. And when you are an actor and you want people to watch your movie, you cannot alienate fans.
It's also stupid because so I know someone, I don't actually know her, but I have a mutual friend with this super big influencer, millions of followers, and she was in a major controversy, and it was actually nothing of her own doing. She got roped into it. Dang. And she spoke to a PR crisis manager, and the PR crisis manager told her, don't respond, don't say anything. And I think after a couple of days, she just had to. But the advice was really interesting nonetheless. And the reason for that advice was, it was twofold. Number one, the second you say something, you extenuate your name in the news cycle with this controversy, because now all these websites and social media pages have more information to report, and they're going to do it for another 24 or 48 hours. And people are going to be commenting and reposting, et cetera, et cetera. So you literally add fuel to the fire. And number two, they also say, don't apologize, because the second you apologize, it's not going to be enough to the people that are trying to cancel you. And they are just going to push for more and more and more. And it's like, it's never enough. And your apology isn't barely going to be accepted anyway. So like these people are trying to cancel you. They want to make sure you like, so I don't know. It's, I thought that was really interesting. And, I thought the way David Cornsweet responded to it was like super classy. And, he made it in a way where, we're talking about it and we're reporting on it, but he didn't act like a whiny brat about it. So people are actually talking about him in a positive way, the way we are kind of right now.
And just as you and I have said, like in the past, right? What the Snyder cult wants him to do is give into it and flip out and crash out, because then they have another reason to, try to throw shots at him. But he responded it in a very Superman way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he just said, like, it's a part of the job. It's a part of the job is what comes with it. So I really respect him for doing that. And that really made me happy, bro, because, and it shows me that, one thing that James Gunn isn't playing with is media training. He ain't playing.
Yeah, 100%.
As in the world that we're in today, everyone has to be media trained. That's just the reality.
Sadly enough.
Yep. So, okay, Lanterns. We got a first look at the Lantern show. We got a photo of Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan. I'm going to pull it up. But Jerry, how did you feel about that first shot of Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan walking?
I liked it, and then I think it was I forget who it was that said this. It might have been Josh from Denim Nerds.
Yeah, he hated it.
Yeah, but he had a point. He was like, it's kind of underwhelming. Like, he wasn't wrong.
Here we go right here. Okay, so this is the shot of them two. Hal Jordan is messy hair.
My first reaction was literally, I was like, this looks exactly the way each of them dress in the comics. So, like, I'm happy to see that. But then when I saw Josh's comment, like, he was right. There's barely a glimpse of the ring. There's no suits. There's no, the coolest things about the Green Lantern visually is the fact that they could conjure anything they imagine through the lantern. And like that should have been included in the first shot.
I agree. I think that the suit should have been the first shot. I'm also not against it though, because I do think that James Gunn just wanted to get a shout out of what they're going to look like, and I think that Aaron Pierre looks he looks perfect. Yeah. And when he's in that suit, is going to be even better. The haircut's very military. The outfit is very like off-duty army guy. And Hal Jordan looks like he's been in space for a while. And I
he
think
looks like he's been flying. His hair, it looks sweaty and messy.
Yes, and it makes sense that like when you're in alien colonies, they don't really care about your hair. Versus where Jon Stewart's like, I'm I want to find me a barber on like Oa, and he's going to give me shape ups in Oa. But they look fly though.
You're cool. Supposed to have short hair in the military too, so it makes sense. Mm-hmm. John is a Marine, and Hal is pilot. But the thing is, like, do you think that we're only going to get a limited amount of like willpower action in the show, and maybe that's why this shot is so underwhelming, because we're not getting much of it?
The budget will tell us that.
That would be a problem, bro. I can't imagine they're doing a Green Lantern show without proper Green Lantern action, but this first shot makes me think about it. But
okay,
so one more thing, hold on. The other thing I want to say is, like, there are some moves James Gunn has made that I have questioned. However, at the same time, when you look at the result of the first Superman trailer and that week that they dropped the score, like, you can't buy that kind of hype, So I think that there's a lot of people out there that are very, very biased, and all they're upset about is that Zack Snyder didn't get the job that James Gunn did. And because of that, there's a lot of criticism on James Gunn, and some of it I think has become a little contagious. Like, I know Josh has a different situation with James Gunn, but I do think that like there's people like me who like, listen, I know people are biased, but I'm still going to read what they're saying. And I think, like, again, the results speak for themselves, but I don't think every step of the way has been a W. And I really, really will be disappointed if we don't get proper Green Lantern action in the Green Lantern show.
Yeah, so I agree. If they see W us, I will crash out. And there's no way around that. And when I say that is like, like they're using the rings, but their suits aren't being shown. I would lose my mind. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I would.
Well, they did a good
Yeah.
did a good job with the Superman action. You got to give me that, bro.
No, but that's like a level up. You know what I mean? That's like a level up. I'm talking about like the regular stuff. So what I do think this is, I think James Gunn was just so excited to get something out. I like because they did the costume. They said they were doing the costume testing like the week prior to when this was shown. So they definitely got the suits. I just think bro was just excited to get it out, and he just in an era where if a picture like this got released in 2011, fans will be excited. But we're in an era where we've gotten our like Avengers. We've seen Superman in the suit. We've seen the Justice League, and I think fans' expectations are just more, and that's something that I've kind of come to terms with, even with this Superman thing and how James Gunn is trying to learn how to roll out films and stuff. People are just so used to excellence when it comes to trailers and rollout and costumes that James Gunn's mess ups are just a highlight because of that. And I think that's what this is. It's like, bro, like I don't care. I just want to see the costume. You know what I mean? And that's just where a lot of fans are. So, but to me, I mean, I don't really care. Like I wasn't even expecting to get a shot like this. So to see them anyway, to me, is a win. And and it just brings to life, what we're going to get.
I wasn't expecting the shot, but just because it wasn't expected doesn't mean it shouldn't be good.
Oh yeah, but I don't think the shot's bad. I don't
think it's bad, but like we still don't. There's no suits. There's no Green Lantern action. Like it should have had that.
Exactly. And to put let's throw our YouTuber hat on, right? Let's say we were making a thumbnail, right? You and I were. The first question you and I will ask is, what is going to make your viewer see this picture and want to click it?
That's a great point.
So let's go into YouTube mode, Jerry. What in this picture would make you what in this picture would you say?
I would never use it for a thumbnail. I would never use it for a thumbnail.
The only way we could make this thumbnail pop, right, Jerry, is if we zoomed in on the ring and made a circle around, and made like a zoom in around in the center of their heads. That's the only way a fan would do it. And then I'll probably have to get AI Photoshop to Photoshop Green Lantern costumes on them.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I think that's how, we should start judging art like that now too. Putting on our thumbnail hat and just saying like, how would a fan react? And to be honest, bro, that's the only way a fan would click on it to say, oh, because I mean, look,
it's not about like, oh, the art's not good if it isn't built for YouTube. It's about, is it interesting and intriguing enough to the person looking at it? And
exactly,
an important clarification here.
Exactly. I mean, because look, right, when I go and make the thumbnail for this, darn well I'm not using this image. You know what I mean? I'm going to use an AI art of them two in Green Lantern suits because that's what fans care about. So I do see your point, bro. And as a costume connoisseur, upsetting, but I am not against it. Okay. And then we have one more topic of the night, and then we're going to be calling it a night. And then I did want to talk about some comics after that for a second. Okay. So I want to talk about Kevin Feige. Okay. So there was a whole tobacco last week about Kathleen Kennedy wanting to leave Star Wars, and she said she's working up a successor. But there was a weird pattern, Jerry, that I saw. And I read almost every article because I was obsessing over this because, I hate Kathleen and the things that she does. I don't hate a lot of people. She's one of the people I hate. And one of the things that really shocked me, bro, was that a lot of the insiders and people writing for Variety and stuff, Jerry, they all want Kevin Feige to take her spot at Lucasfilm. Now, you being a business mind, I wanted to pick your brain on this. Why do you think a lot of people want Kevin Feige to take her place in Lucasfilm? Do you understand why they would?
Yeah, because he has a track record for success in fleshing out a universe. and doing that under Disney. But I don't want that to happen.
Why?
Keep him at Marvel. Fuck that.
I 100% agree.
Lucasfilm, you made this mess, and I will forever hate Star Wars if that happens, because it's like, oh, Lucasfilm messed up Star Wars, so now we're going to hurt Marvel to fix the mess that we made. Like, nah, hell no.
100%. I agree. Yeah, I don't want Feige over there. Mind you, we're getting the X-Men. No, 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 no. Keep them over at Marvel. I like, and look, being the president isn't as glamorous as it seems, right? Like, she probably has a bunch of board meetings, probably not a lot of creative content. I think Dave Filoni would be a very good person, but Dave Filoni doesn't have the business admin, vibe. He's a creative. And so a lot of people have been saying Jon Favreau and Dave, but the thing is, and this is what Josh from Dead and Nerds was saying, Favreau doesn't want to because he makes more money directing than he would as being the lead. So they would have to compensate Favreau. And the question is, does Favreau want to be the one to take these, meetings as well? And then also the only other problem I have with Dave is that Dave's a company man, and a lot of the crap that is going out, he hasn't commented on. It hasn't expressed his frustration. And it's because he loves Kathleen. And yes, he makes good content, but she's also going to be producing a lot of these movies after she's gone. And it's like, do you want someone that's going to go with that? Or would you want a Jon Favreau who probably has the balls to scratch a lot of these films? So, that's kind of where I'm at with it. I'm not really sure who I want as president. I will want Dave from the creative side, but they should do a Safran and James Gunn thing where you have someone that's handling the boardrooms, the meetings, the actual business side, and you have a creative. What I have learned about Kevin Feige is that he is he's a unicorn, bro. He's a unicorn. And because he can do both. And I don't know how, but the guy can do both. And I don't think, and there's only one Feige.
Yep, I agree. And, it's success isn't made in glamorous light. It's what you do when no one's watching, and it's, oftentimes tedious and boring, and, but it's a question of how bad do you want it.
Very James Bond-esque right there. By the way, that James Bond entrance thing that he did at the Oscars was super cool. I thought
that was dope. I was glad to see it, but I hate the Oscars.
Same here. All right, let's finish these chats and then we can get out of here. Let's see. Okay. All right, here we go. No. All right. Do you guys think that something so recent could get put in these movies? Like Immortus is connected to Kang? Not really sure, bro, to be honest. Now, there were rumors about the recast for Kang. If that's true, then maybe. But I think the only reason that they would use Kang is for Doom to kill Kang. But I would argue that you could use Loki in the story and not involve Kang at all, because Loki is the one that's holding the multiverse together. So do you really need Kang at that point? I mean, from a story standpoint, because Loki kind of takes him out.
Yeah, I think that they need to do something. They need to give him more finality, and they didn't really need to show his face. They could just show Doom snapping his neck. You know what? That would be the best Fantastic Four post-credit scene. Dr. Doom snapping Loki's neck, fade to black. Boom.
That would be nuts.
Yeah.
That would be nuts, bro. I would scream.
Two birds in one stone. We all see Dr. Doom for the first time and close the chapter on Kang.
I know you're going to erupt when that happens. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I will. Like I said from day one, before they abandoned the Kang storyline, I said from day one, it's going to be Doom that kills Kang.
Could I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How shocked would you be if Doom is more involved in Fantastic Four than we think? Not saying that is he or not, but if he was,
be shocked. I would be shocked. I think that would be a lot, considering we're getting Silver Surfer and Galactus, and it's like multiversal, and they are trying to have the first well-received Fantastic Four movie, I do not think we're going to get more than a post-credit from Doctor Doom.
I agree. I feel like with Disney Plus, animation should be Elseworld. Please, no more What If facts. Bring back shows like Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Iron Man, Armored Avengers, Potential Spider-Man. Exactly, bro. They already have a pool of stuff that they can pull from.
It seems like they're building out an Elseworlds universe in animation with X-Men 97 and Spider-Man. And, there were so many character cameos in Spider-Man. And I think there were some in X-Men 97 too, if I remember correctly. So I think we're going to be getting more. And I'm sure that there will be new Marvel animation projects that are announced over the course of the year.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Disney viewpoint of Young Avengers is that they are trying to make their version of Teen Titans, and they're not as cool as Robin or Cyborg or Raven.
Yeah, and they're picking the worst roster to do it.
Yeah, bro. I'm sorry, bro. You can't. You can't. They cannot sell us that.
Yeah.
Make Daredevil, Punisher, Moon Knight, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, just Jessica Jones the face of Disney Plus. Daredevil, Punisher, and Moon Knight as the face of it. Of that, count me in.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, Starfire being Elseworlds makes sense. Everything they announced on the animated side seemed to be for young kids. With
I didn't realize it was animated.
Yeah, it is. But like, if you're building out the Teen Titans, why would you do that?
Yeah, and they also are making animated stuff that's part of the DCU, like Creature Commandos was. So I still think it's an L.
I agree. Except for My Adventure for Green Lanterns, that's more for all ages.
Okay.
Like Starfire seems like something that would be on Cartoon Network or Teen. No, that's definitely gonna it's gonna be all on Max, bro. Trust.
Yeah, but even if that is what they're doing, like they should make it more adult-like in DCU. I mean, how many of those like anime profile picture Twitter accounts that are obsessed with Starfire?
I agree, and they're pretty freaky.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll be like, oh, exit out.
Yep.
Professional comic fan consultant. Exactly. Hire us, Feige, man. I will quit my job right now. Fandom, don't recast T'Challa, replace him with Shuri. Iron Man was a C-lister before the MCU, so what's wrong with Nova? X-23 should be the Wolverine of the X-Men. List goes on. Facts, bro. Mm-hmm. The takes are crazy. I always thought before RDJ was casted as Doom, he might come back to play the Beyonder. I remember that was like a theory going around for a while. I always thought the Celestials were such a cool concept, and they don't do much within the movies. They were cool too. They got left behind, sadly. What run are you guys talking about? So with Hickman's Avengers, if you go on Marvel Unlimited, literally go to Avengers and then choose the artist Hickman, and then all of them will pop up.
Yeah. So the Hickman Avengers run, it's Avengers from I'm pretty sure 2012. But there's also Hickman New Avengers. So there's two different runs, and you're supposed to read them intertwined. So that's why the reading order is very specific. I want to check if the hold on, there's a reading guide. So yeah, I would look up the reading order online to make sure the app guides you correctly. It probably does. But now that I'm looking at it, I actually don't know if it does.
Okay.
Yeah, I would definitely go off the internet.
Yeah. I will honestly go on Marvel Unlimited because it has it by date, and so that's probably the best way to go off it.
Yeah, I disagree. I would go offline just to be double.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bet. Too much lore. Oh, you already answered that. It's Star Wars confirmed means it's about 50-50 shot. Facts, bro. But I don't think so because they've been dodging for a while. I think she said she wanted to go out with a bang. Exactly. Yeah, she wants to go out on a win.
Yeah, because she wants to, she knows she's had a terrible track record over the past decade plus. So a lot of these people in Hollywood are super egotistical, and she doesn't want to go like. After the Acolyte, she's not going to hang it up after that.
Yeah. Who thought the Acolyte was going to be a win? Ugh.
As much as the people on Threads love to cape and pretend it was a win and a great show, there's a reason Kathleen Kennedy said she wanted to retire on a win and didn't retire after the Acolyte. Okay.
And those people didn't even watch it.
Yeah.
You guys think the reason Gunn is working on Brave and the Bold this early is because in case Reeves decides to delay the Batman 2 again, because Reeves does have a track record of for taking too long to make sequels? Not really sure, bro, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. I do think that they probably want to get a Batman movie out soon because they need money, and Batman's going to bring in the money. So it may be possible, but I think they are more focused on just doing Batman right in both movies.
Yeah. And the only reason why they would do Brave and the World is to get the DCU on track. And it's like I can see them fast tracking it if Superman does bad. That's what
I know everyone loves Superman and like all, but I wish Superman. I think they should have started with the Green Lantern movie. That's what I would have done.
That would have been crazy. I think the first shot is trying to set a tone. Yeah, true. They described it as grounded and gritty.
That's a good point about setting a tone because it definitely did that.
Yeah, it does. It does. I know this show is Earth-based, but I do hope we get at least one episode of them traveling in space and we see, oh, well, they have to. They have to do that.
Yeah.
Cautiously optimistic. Facts.
It's fair.
All right, from comments and right here, these are the 3 things I want to see. At least one episode of them in space, and we see Oa, a final battle of them in costume fighting, whatever the main villain is, and Hal does not die. And I don't think Hal is going to die. And also, they're definitely undercover in that photo. You know what I'm saying? So whenever they're fighting, I'm pretty sure the costumes are going to be on them. You know what I mean? They're definitely trying to keep a cover. They never, because remember, this is like a detective style type of thing. They never showed Green Lantern, only ever hinted at it in the Arrowverse, unless they show up in the Superman and Lois. Yo, bro, there's a whole video of me crashing out about that. I did a whole solo video on that where I crashed out for like 10 minutes about that, about John, because John did go Green Lantern. And yo, Jared, remember when we reviewed the costumes that they had? It was literally his it was literally the costume that he had at Arrow, just with the freaking green Lantern sign on it, the freaking biker helmet and stuff.
Oh, John Diggle.
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah. By the way, they might be a little undercover, but you have to remember that both their identities are known. Hal Jordan and John Stewart.
On Earth?
Yeah.
But if it's a James Gunn story, it might be different, bro. It might be different. I want Hal to become paralyzed.
There are times where it's been secret or less known, so who knows? I also think it's interesting because James Gunn has commented before on Marvel. You know, he's like they didn't want to deal with the secret identity thing, and that's why Iron Man did it. But I don't think he's just trying to do what Marvel did at the same time. I do think he's trying to do DC different. Yeah. And in DC, secret identities are a big thing, but that doesn't mean that Lantern's just going to be that.
Yeah, being Green Lantern, you kind of doesn't matter. Feige is a fan. Facts. He likes the comics. Facts. Do you think Gunn should do an animated Flash movie where Barry is the Flash, Wally is Kid
I know
Flash?
Feige is a big comics guy, and James Gunn. Both of them are.
Facts. In the end, Barry retires, and which is crazy why Lucasfilm hired Kathleen. Anyways, in the end, Barry retires, Wally becomes a Flash. Then we see the Flash Wally live action debut with Justice League. Yeah. I honestly think that would be terrible.
On the Gunn and Feige thing, like I forget which one it was. I think it was Feige, and I forget which comic he was talking about, but I remember it was like one of my favorites, and he was saying, yeah, every week when that got slipped into my office, I would read it immediately. And I've always just dreamed of being in an office and having like Ultimate Spider-Man slip to me to read as work. Like that's incredible.
Oh yeah, dude. And you know he read that One World Doom joint. You know he read that joint super early. You know he gets everything early.
Yeah, definitely. I was the next one comes out on I think the 26th. I can't wait, bro. I'm so annoyed it's not coming out this week.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So comics. All right. So that's all the comics here. So comics talked about what he would want his job to be, and he said that if he worked for a studio, he would want to be the guy where after the actor gets hired, like he said, like they have someone that gives you like what to read and stuff. He was like, I want to be that guy. I want to give them the comics to read and like what movies and shows they should watch and like
That's a
what
great.
tones they should
Yeah.
go for. That's where I could see you at too, bro.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
could do like that.
It's funny because there was a clip recently that I saw of John Bernthal, and he was on some late night talk show, and he was like, you know, I went to a comic store in LA, I bought some Punisher comics, whatever. He's like, and then I go to a comic store in Brooklyn and I pick out a couple Punisher comics and I go to the counter and the guy's like, I know who you are. He goes, you're not taking this. You're taking this, and this. Don't fuck it up.
That's actually pretty awesome, bro. I love
That's
the comic book
awesome,
community.
bro. Oh, man. And whoever it was, thank you. Okay?
You
Like,
did your job.
yeah, and it's funny because like people start reading comics and it's like they're like, wait, what do you mean? It's a Punisher comic. It's not a good comic. Like,
Yep.
just like the movies, not every comic is great. Some of them are better than others. Some of them are amazing. Some of them are trash. And then sometimes you get a writer like Dan Slott, and they let him write Fantastic Four for 45 books, and they're trash. And they keep the same guy on Spider-Man for 10 years, and it's like, come on, bro.
100%.
Yeah.
So, all right, y'all, we're going to end it here. We have clips going out every day. We got some lore videos going out because I've been reading comics, guys, and I'm gonna lie, I've been obsessing over lore. So I've been just pumping out some just because I'm obsessed with freaking Fantastic Four right now. And I also read some Damian Wayne stuff, so I've been kind of obsessing over that. Like, so I need to.
You read any Nightwing yet?
No,
bro. I thought he's your favorite.
Robin is my favorite hero.
Okay.
But Dick Grayson is my favorite Robin, if that makes sense. Like, he's my favorite Robin. Yeah.
People, I've never read really many Nightwing comics, but people they love Nightwing comics. Yeah.
I'm gonna write it down. Nightwing comics. I'm gonna try it out, bro.
Yeah. I don't know which ones are supposed to be the good ones. I think like Rebirth is supposed to be really good. Okay. But I would do your own research on that one.
Yeah, because right now I'm in like the Marvel hole, but I think I could go for some DC though. I ain't gonna lie, I could go for some DC. But all right, y'all. We hope you guys have a great night. We'll be back next week. Tomorrow, I'll be doing the watch party with you guys for Daredevil, and then we're going to do a crazy just breakdown next week because we're going to eat this show alive and we're going to break it down crazy. We hope you guys have a great day and peace out.
Peace.